On Friday, December 21st, 2018, something very significant happened in the National Assembly of Guyana. But what was it? A no-confidence motion was brought to the House by Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Barry Jagdeo, against the ruling APNU plus AFC government. The motion was successfully carried by a vote of 33 to 32 in favor of the opposition People's Progressive Party. I use the term significant because the opposition People's Progressive Party Civic only had 32 members. However, one member from the government, Mr. Charandas Prasad, crossed the floor, so to speak, when he voted for the opposition. Since then, this no-confidence motion has brought a high level of dispute to our beautiful country of Guyana. Indeed, the motion was successfully carried. The Speaker of the National Assembly acknowledged that it was carried. The Chief Justice in the High Court, Madam Roxanne George, acknowledged that the motion was indeed carried. These things often plays out in politics in many countries of the world. Both the government and the opposition should have used the opportunity to work together and to see a peaceful transition of power if the need so arise. However, the matter has been brought to the highest level, which will now see the Caribbean Court of Justice taking control of it. This issue should have never reached so far. A lot of precious time has been wasted. Guyanese have been sitting in doubt. And indeed it shows our arrogance at the highest level, which is the Parliament and the National Assembly, to deal with matters in a respectable way. Why has the matter reached the Caribbean Court of Justice? I'll tell you why. Because we've been playing a game with our mathematics, trying to point out half of 65, that is 65%, and trying to use the term of half plus 1. Brethren, in no part of the world can you have half of a man or half of a woman and that person is still living. There were some doubts about the legibility of the vote, since Mr. Charandas Prasad did and still holds a dual citizenship. However, the matter of dual citizenship was dealt with decisively, and I will not go into that. I also want to use this time to advise all members of Parliament, both in the government and the opposition side, let us not go through the mistake ever again of having persons with dual citizenship sit in our National Assembly. Let us respect the Constitution of Guyana. On Friday, May 10th, 2019, the Caribbean Court of Justice is expected to make the final ruling on this matter. Here is the problem. We haven't quite reached a standard decision on what constitutes a majority out of 65. I'll explain. Our National Assembly carries 65 sitting persons. Half of 65 is indeed 32.5 as a decimal. 33 therefore constitutes a majority, since one side will have 33 and the other will have 32. You cannot use the term of half plus 1. Like I've said before, there is no such thing as half of a member of Parliament. Now, what is a decimal? A decimal is a number that carries a point, and all numbers can carry a point. Example, we can have 7.1, 0.2, 0.3. We can have 15.5, we can have 20.6. Those are just some examples. To make a decimal a full and complete whole number, we must round off that number. The points within a decimal ranges from 1 to 9. The rule of rounding numbers clearly states that if the point ranges from 1 to 4, you round downwards. However, if the point in the decimal ranges from 5 to 9, you round upwards. It is fair common sense to say that if one round downwards, you're going down. Therefore, the number gets smaller. If one round upwards, you're going up. Therefore, the number gets bigger. 32.5 will have to be rounded up. When it rounds up, we get 33. From the moment you get 33, you have a clear and decisive majority. This is simple mathematics and should be respected by everyone, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, and nationalism. I'm trusting that the CCJ will allow justice and fairness to prevail, and we know that they will at all costs. There is also a term of absolute majority, which would have required the opposition to have 34 persons and not 33. That meant that instead of one person crossing the floor, the opposition would have needed 2 persons. However, I'll be clear again. Absolute majority was not enacted into Guyana's constitution, and we have never been using that term. It is used in other countries indeed, but not here in Guyana. Article 106 of our Constitution requires a majority, and that is why Madam Roxanne George quoted from the Constitution when she made her ruling. I'm trusting that we will respect the decision and we will have free and fairness at all levels of Guyana. I was also disappointed when the appeal court ruled that 34 votes should have been required. In asking for an absolute majority of 34, one would have breached the Constitution of Guyana. Let us respect the laws of our country. Let us have love for one another. I'm trusting that these are some points that the Caribbean Court of Justice will take into consideration when the judges on those panels sit to make their final deliberation on this matter. There was also some hesitant moment by the Guyana Election Commission after it was said that election would constitutionally be due within 90 days. Brothers, there was no need to go to house registration since the list was valid at least until April 30th. The members on the panel of the Guyana Elections Commission should have got their acts together and acted freely and fairly within the Constitution of Guyana. Let us therefore use these matters as a learning example, and let us not have a scenario like this occur again. I'll now take you into one of my favorite songs, Integrity. Do enjoy.
Dozens of alleged street dealers and other criminals are brought into court. They are at the lowest level of the drugs trade. For years, Guyana has been either forgotten or ignored by the rest of the world, but now narcotics have put it on the map. Guyana is a drugs crossroad. Cocaine from Colombia and Venezuela passes through here on its way to West Africa and the Caribbean and onto markets in Europe and the US. Here in the Anti-Narcotics Unit headquarters, we were shown the latest drugs confiscated. 7 kilograms of cocaine were soaked into these clothes. There were also some drugs found inside these cardboard separators, and 3 kilograms of pure cocaine, worth about $300,000 in the streets, were hidden here in this false bottom of the suitcase. There were also greeting cards destined to Canada and England, and when you actually open the greeting card, you find 23 grams of cocaine worth about $5,000 in the streets of Europe and North America. In fact, here in Guyana, there is a saying that the only thing drug lords have not put cocaine into is the national anthem.
Integrity should always stand tall. Integrity should never be allowed to fall. Now here is what I see at the very top. Integrity is under attack, but if you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. If you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. If you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. Standing against a wall and facing a rock, integrity will prevail against all odds. Cause if you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. If you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. Everybody love integrity, except those who know they are guilty, wicked and dirty. Let them pay the penalty. Integrity is the only way to build a better society. Cause our country need better leader. Tired for see corrupt president and government minister. The commissioner of police said that crime is on the increase, but he never told us many criminals are police. But if you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. If you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. Yes, if you bury the truth, we will dig it up right back. Guyana was once the breadbasket for the Caribbean, supplying the food market of many small islands. We give up farming and start to neglect the land, never listening to the warning of Forbes Burnham. That fashion of strategy may seem to be a poor model, but many look up to our country as a great role model. Produce or perish will always be a success, just like a young child nourished from his own mother breast. So if you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. If you bury the truth, we will dig it up right back. Integrity should always stand tall. Integrity should never be allowed to fall. Now here is what I see at the very top. Integrity is under attack, but if you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. If you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. If you bury the truth, we will dig it up right back. Standing against a wall and facing a rock, integrity will prevail against all odds. Cause if you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. If you bury the truth, we will dig it up back. Everybody love integrity, except those who know they are guilty, wicked and dirty. Let them pay the penalty. Integrity is the only way to build a better society. So if you bury the truth, we will dig it up right back.